All right. Can everyone see the screen? Yes? All right. Okay. So let's start with introductions. There are there's one new person here, but that's fine. Just say your name, your major, and your year and where you're calling from. Okay. First. Oh wait, Simone is here. All right. Angie, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. My name is Angie. I am a freshman studying political science at the University of Tennessee, and I'm calling from Knoxville.
All right. Jane, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. I'm Jane. I'm a sophomore in high school, and I'm calling from Collierville.
Jesse, you want to go?
Yes, I'm Jesse. I'm a neuroscience major at University of Tennessee, and I'm calling from Knoxville.
Megan, you here? I don't know if Megan's still here or not. Simone, do you want to go?
I'm Simone. I'm a sophomore, and I'm calling from Collierville.
All right. Okay. I guess we'll wait for Megan to come back later. Okay. So today we're talking about human nature. Basically, are humans innately good or bad? And there are so few people here that I think maybe we'll just do like a raise of hands. Who thinks humans are innately good? No hand raise. All right. So
Sorry.
who thinks humans are innately bad? Oh, it seems like a tie because we can't see.
You haven't
the other
voted,
hands.
Tia.
I think neither. I guess that's an option too. Yeah. Here, let me just close the poll. All right. Why the people who think that humans are innately good? Why do you think so?
I would say probably because of our capacity for love and human connection, and how like we kind of seek that out automatically.
Angie, any different opinions?
Sorry. Yeah, I would say it's like either neither or good, because I think that like humans are like a product of their environment, and so they are taught whatever they are taught in the beginning. I guess, like, if that makes any sense. I don't know how to say it, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that so I guess I would change my answer to innately indifferent. I don't even know. They're like a blank. They're nothing.
Blank slate? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, people who think that humans are innately bad, what is your reasoning?
Well, I think people will like only do actions that like benefit them somehow, and even like certain actions that we might think of as like good are inherently done for like selfish reasons. I think that makes people bad.
I agree. It's like not underlying characteristics, but like it's like mostly common that everyone is like greedy or selfish, and I don't think there are innately good stuff that we have like from the start.
Oh yeah, I think I skipped you in the intro. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. I'm Teddy. I'm a
Year,
senior. I'm
Major.
studying mechanical engineering, and I'm calling from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
All right. Okay. So here's some questions to consider, like going with this topic of human nature. What are some innate qualities we have? Like we were talking about goodness or badness, but are there things that are maybe in between that you're sure we have? Like I know Jesse said the capacity to love. Is there something else like that we have?
I know I already said this, but I think that the capacity to form like connections with other people, even if it's done for selfish reasons to like help yourself get ahead, I think that quality is pretty important.
I think competitiveness is an innate quality that we have that could be something. Either we want to be, like, we seek to be better than people, whether that's for good reasons or for bad is up to interpretation. All right. Are we innately selfish?
Yes.
I think so as well. Anyone else disagree? Or agree for that matter?
No, I agree.
Yeah, I would agree as well.
What do you think, that's a good or a bad thing?
Like good or bad thing, like morally or like for society or
Both, kind of.
I think it can be good and bad because being selfish sometimes can like put your not value more, but like can push you into better societies. Like, I don't know.
So it's better for you as a person. What about like you as a person in relation to other people in your community or society? Is being selfish a good or a bad thing?
I guess that would be more bad than good. Like when you're talking about like relationships with other people.
Would it necessarily be bad though? Like if we're going by this whole, oh, if everyone acts in their self-interest or something, things will naturally just like fall.
Maybe.
I think you can like set up a society that like uses selfish behavior for like the good of society,
How so?
like capitalism. Like you reward people for like doing work by like giving them money, and like they'll selfishly want to do that work to get the money, but then the work is still like benefiting society.
That's part of the argument behind intellectual property. I'm doing a project on that, so like that's the actual argument that we use for why intellectual property exists. Also, like from an evolutionarily, I don't know what I'm saying, evolution standpoint, I don't know, it kind of helps everyone stay alive if you think about yourself and what you need. And I'm sure the argument can be made that like if people work together, it also helps keeps us alive, and then humans exist. Ta-da.
Yeah. So from an evolutionary standpoint, yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah, that intellectual property like argument kind of is like a way to frame this, because I guess with capitalism, most of us can say, oh, okay, yeah, self-interest, you need to make money and that will benefit society. But what about like knowledge? I don't know. I feel like it's selfish for scientists to keep things behind like a paywall, things like that, when it could benefit people, but it could just be because I'm a student and I want access to documents without having to pay for them, which is also inherently selfish. So where do we draw the line?
I think that's a good question. One of the arguments I think for intellectual property is if you incentivize people with money, then they'll keep putting like the good things out to the world, which is what he was saying. It's selfish of us because we're doing it to get money, but also we're putting things out there that people can use. But I also understand your argument of like, where do we stop? Because we're all selfish in this.
All right. There's also like the question of kind of going into this whole monetary gain idea. Here, do you want me to sit over here?
It doesn't matter.
I can do it. Or, yeah.
Like scoot over so they can see us.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. What are we talking about?
We stopped at this question.
Wait, come here. They can't see.
Right.
What are we talking about?
Okay, so we were talking about like capitalism and how you can have money kind of using selfish motivations to like achieve the good of the world, good for the world, but could money be considered like a corrupting influence, something that makes us selfish when we're not inherently selfish to begin with? Or like in general, are we just born good and then corrupted by society? For the people who said, oh, we're inherently bad. Or like we're inherently good. Sorry.
Wait, Teddy, did you already say what you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
except we're inherently bad.
Okay, wait, what was your reasoning?
Because like people only do things that benefit them, and like every action benefits you in some way, like even ones that appear selfless.
So are we born that way or are we made that way?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
even if we accept that humans nowadays act really bad, we can't really say, oh, that means we're inherently bad, right? Like, why do you think it's inherent rather than something that's taught?
I mean, like we have laws in our society that like prevent you from doing bad things, but we don't have laws that encourage you to do good things.
Okay,
That's an
wait, but
interesting
why is that
argument, yeah.
reasoning?
Because it means like that we want to do those bad things, but then we're like stopped by society.
Okay, right, but we might only want to do those bad things because we have been taught by society to want those bad things.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Like, I definitely agree that humans are inherently bad, but like, why are they inherently
like,
bad?
Society does not teach people to like murder other people.
Well,
Like,
maybe not murder, but like, for example, like I know we are talking about like selfishness. So like, we might claim that humans aren't actually inherently selfish. It's just like we are taught to be selfish because we're like rewarded for selfish behavior in society.
How are we?
I'm trying to think if
Besides
that's
like
what I
money.
said is even true.
Yeah. How is a person rewarded for being selfish besides like, with like the monetary incentive?
Success.
With
Fame.
success,
Yeah.
like the people that make the most money in the world tend to be sociopathic or have some tendencies. I'm not making a general statement. I'm just saying like those are the stats.
do we have like any info on like some like uncontacted like Aborigines tribes or something, and if they're selfish or not?
Oh, that would be pretty interesting.
Right. So maybe like depending on their society's values, they might be better people than we are. But like, what does that even say about the inherent nature of humans,
Yeah.
though? That only says that, oh, that society encourages good behavior better than we do.
Thoughts, anyone?
I've read like a couple case studies on some of like the Aboriginal tribes off the coast of India, like the Nicobar and Andaman Islands. And like, I don't know, it's pretty much what you would expect out of like any tribe. It's just values based around working together and like
Right.
community stuff. So that kind of discourages selfishness from the start. But like, I feel like it's kind of a given.
But is working together in that case only like encouraged because it's the best chance of survival for the community?
Yeah.
And even that is also just another example of us being taught to behave a certain way. It doesn't say anything about like the inherent nature or like what do we naturally tend to do. Like if we have like a baby that was born a second ago, can we say whether it is good or bad?
Maybe it's a case by case basis too. I don't know.
What do you mean?
Like maybe some people are born inherently good and some are born inherently bad.
Yeah, and also another thing to consider is like maybe good and bad are like not good words to use when we think about what humans are like. Because I don't know if you guys talked about this already, but like, is selfishness really a bad or like evil trait? Like, why do we think it's evil in the first place?
Yeah, I was gonna ask if doing things out of a selfish motivation, like working together with your tribe to survive, like if that's a bad thing.
Right. So even if we think about like the nicest people on the planet, like if they're only being nice because it makes them feel good, does that mean that they're not nice anymore? Like if their sole motivation is selfish, but they're doing all these great things, then I don't really think we can claim that selfishness is always an evil trait.
Is that only because we have to judge people by their actions rather than their intentions, or
Yeah, so I guess now we need to think about like whether or not intention is more important than consequence.
Wait, and like determining if someone is selfish or not, or like if determining it.
determining if someone is like bad or good, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah. So like if I don't know, if I end up saving someone, but like I intended to break something and I saved them like unintentionally, am I actually a good person?
See, when you frame it like that, it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like that.
But that's like an extreme framing. So
Because I'd like to think that people are nice, usually not for a purely selfish reason, because obviously we don't like think only about ourselves. Like we do think like even if we're like kind of benefiting a stranger, that does kind of play a role in our decision making, even if we want to do something nice just because we want to feel good. That doesn't necessarily mean that's the only motivation, the majority of the time, I would say. Because I feel like people do want to be good people. And if they're bad, they often like find ways to think around their bad behavior and claim that they are so good either way. So
why do we want to be good people though? Does that just make us feel like we're more in line with what society is expecting of us?
or maybe we want praise from other people.
Yeah.
So
Do we assume that our conscience doesn't exist in that case?
wait, what do you mean by that?
Like if the two like rationales for being good people are to appease others or feel good about it, like do you guys think we have a conscience? Like what if no one knew about what you did?
So like obviously I think everyone does have a conscience, I would like to believe, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't say anything about what the motivation behind that is. Like you might only think certain things because that's what you were taught, like we were talking about before. Like I'm trying to think. People might still feel guilty for bad behavior, or like people will still feel certain ways about their behavior depending on like what their conscience says about them. That's just like some inner voice or whatever, but that doesn't necessarily dictate your actions either way. So do you get what I'm trying to say there?
I guess it's like conscience wise, why do we feel like guilty or bad when we do something wrong? And is that just because other people are aware that we did something
Yeah, that's
wrong?
what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the origin of your conscience is just like
society slash
Yeah.
what your parents taught you slash like what you've seen in the world already. It's not really like something that's necessarily innate. Like even if it exists already, what shapes it to make you feel guilty about certain things and make you not feel guilty in other situations, that's mostly based on like societal pressures and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely agree that it's all like social or like societal, because we have seen in history examples of normal people just like committing atrocities just because their society dictates that, oh, this is what we're going to do. We're going to like commit genocide or burn villages or something. And they're okay with doing it just because their whole society is kind of just like, oh, this is just something we do. So like good slash bad is subjective in that sense. But I still think that humans are inherently like neutral because of that.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So, but there are certain characteristics of humans that are innate, I would think.
Such as?
I do think selfishness is one of them,
Mhm.
just because that's just evolutionarily advantageous. And like we inherently do want to please other people because that's also like evolutionary. So I don't really know. I think the only way we can answer this question is if we think about those innate qualities and then determine whether those are good or bad. So like, can we even, like, I know they do a lot of studies on like babies where, wait, have any of you guys seen the study on the babies where they like show a puppet show to them of like one puppet being mean to the other puppet, and then the baby is like given a choice between the mean puppet and the nice puppet, and then they usually pick the nice puppet. So it seems like we at least innately like to see good behavior. So there is some kind of innate moral judgment that exists, possibly, unless you think that study is flawed, which I guess it kind of is.
But what if we only want to see the good behavior to
Mhm.
realize that like nice people would be more advantageous for us to
Right,
be around
yeah.
instead of like
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're a baby, you'd rather have a parent who's like sweet to you rather than one who's just like yelling
Yeah.
at you all the time. So you see a puppet like that. I don't know. It's hard to assume what babies are actually thinking in that case.
So do you like, at what age do you think society overrides whatever natural tendencies we have? So like at what age can we ever just study young kids and say, oh, this determines something about our innate traits? Like, for example, a lot of people say like, oh, look at how evil children are. Definitely proof that that humans are innately bad, because children are just like less inhibited, like they can do whatever they want and it doesn't really matter, right?
I don't know. I think it's the fact that like from the moment a baby is born, they're surrounded by other humans. So I don't think there's ever some like I don't know
I
if
mean,
they
yeah,
can
obviously
like,
there's no
understand it.
vacuum, but at
Yeah.
a certain point, it's like there is more innate stuff in there than there is societal influence. So like if we compare kids to adults are definitely a worse study of whether or not we're actually good or bad, because adults have grown up in the society, right? Whereas kids have only spent a short time in the society. So maybe kids are a better reflection of what we're like innately. And I think most of us get pretty surprised when a child is like super nice. Or like selfless, I want to say, not like just nice.
But if people across multiple societies like all exhibit the same behavior,
Mhm.
then can't we say that like that behavior is inherently human?
Right, but do we have enough diversity in societies to claim that?
I mean, you have like, I don't know, like every society, not only like across the world, but also like across time periods.
Right. But also, when we compare societies like that, it's, where was I going with that? Wait, say the last thing you said.
We have like a lot of different societies to draw from, I feel like, because we have like every society that's around like right now, and then you can also go like back in time.
Right,
and
but
look
then
at-
we could also claim that the true nature of a society tends to lean towards rewarding good behavior, at least to a certain extent. So then like society is always keeping us from showing our innate qualities. Like all societies might not permit murder, for example. I know that might not be the case, but like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like you have to also consider like society isn't like some like mysterious entity that was like just like popped into existence. Like people created society.
Yes, but people created society because they saw that collaboration was more effective than everyone in it for themselves. So the true, like just like the nature of forming a society means, okay, guys, we're not gonna steal from each other or murder each other, even if we want to, because in the end, collaborating will be better than not collaborating. So like the social contract or whatever. So like, it's just maybe it's not a good comparison because there's no vacuum. You know what I mean? Like the very reason why we create society is because of certain advantages, and if we weren't living in a society, then maybe we would see more bad behavior, I would think. So maybe that means that we are innately bad.
And then don't you think it's like good of us that we were setting up that society to like encourage people to be good? Like,
Right,
just
but
like that
maybe is it even good if we're only doing it because we're like, in the end, I will get to eat more if I abstain from murdering that guy.
that's probably something we should define. Like, is a selfish action or is a something that produces like good in the universe, but it's done for selfish reasons? Is that like a good thing or a bad thing? Is it
Yeah.
morally right or wrong?
Okay, I feel like we're talking too much. Somebody else say something.
I mean, you would have to. I think like the action of it trumps the intention, because it just, you can never really know the person's intention. And like, even if you like, I would think that almost every single action is done from like selfish means or like intentions, as we mentioned, like with the helping other people so that you can feel good about yourself or whatever. Like, that's like a selfish reward, but we should still like encourage that because it ends up helping like society as a whole, you know?
Yeah. See what you're saying, but we don't necessarily need to know someone's intentions. We just need to like be able to somehow figure out if our intentions are good or bad. Like, I don't think we can just say that action trumps intention all the time, because like if you accidentally do something good, I don't think you should be rewarded for it, and if you accidentally do something bad, I don't think you should be punished for it either. Like I told Teddy about this, but if there's just like a random button and you just decide to press it and it ends up blowing up a country, can everyone people can't get mad at you for that. You just pressed a button with no intention of harming anybody. So in that case, like, we can't claim that action was morally wrong, right? Just because of the consequences.
I think we can loosely generalize that actions trump intention. I do see what you're saying, and I do know that
Can you
intentions
explain
matter.
why?
Probably because of, I mean, from a utilitarian standpoint, because everything we do is connected to everyone else, like our actions really do affect a lot of people. And at that point, like whatever happens to them, I don't think it really matters what your intentions were because they have to deal with the aftermath. So I can understand like when you put this person on trial, like their intention matters. But regardless of what they were planning to do, the other people that were affected by their actions still have to deal with whatever it is that happened.
I mean, I guess if you're utilitarian, maybe, but I think where I'm a little iffy on that is just because someone has to deal with the consequences of your action doesn't mean that your action was morally wrong. Like, I don't think you can claim that I did anything wrong by pressing that button, even if it ended up affecting a lot of people. Like, even for less extreme situations, if I drop my notebook on the sidewalk and someone trips and falls, like, it's not my fault in any way. And like, I didn't do anything morally wrong by like accidentally dropping my notebook. Does anyone else have any other thoughts? Tia, what do you think?
I agree with you. Like, just because there are consequences to it does not mean the person can be judged as good or bad, you know, like,
Yeah.
or the action itself.
I think maybe we should go back to the good or bad thing. Like, is selfishness good or not? Or can we not say?
I'll go with the usual answer and say we can't say because it's just neutral. It's just a tool and it matters how you use it.
Yeah, I think it's good and bad.
Okay. Can you explain why you think that, Jane?
Because if you're selfish for yourself, you can also help other people, but like you can also hurt people because you're selfish. Like, do you know what I mean?
So it seems like when you say that, though, it seems more like you care about the consequences. And if you agree with me in saying that the intention is more important, then I want to know whether you think intentionally doing something with selfish motivation is good.
No, I think if you're selfish because you want to feel good, like say you're nice to someone because you want to like feel good, but it's not your intention, that can still be selfish.
Yeah, it is selfish, but is it good or bad to intentionally?
I can't say. Maybe bad, more bad.
Okay. And I think a lot of people just think of selfishness as a bad thing. Maybe this has like religious origins because a lot of religious stuff tends to like condemn very natural stuff. And just selfishness in itself is not actually that bad. Like, you can claim that eating food is selfish if we go far enough. Like, I think we might just tie bad things with the word selfish when in reality, just like taking care of yourself is also in a way a selfish action. Also, people can take the easy way out and just say that good and bad don't exist, so therefore we can't be good and bad either.
Or you can pull the Nietzsche and just say good and bad is decided by people in power, but we're not going to talk
No,
about
or
that.
we can pull a nihilism and say it doesn't matter. Wait, who haven't we heard from? Not to put anybody on the spot.
I don't know if Megan's like back. She kind of faded. Simone, do you have anything to say?
I'm sorry, I don't even really know like my stance on this, to be honest. I think like
What like sounds good to you right now?
what sounds good.
Like
What do
what
you mean?
sounds like,
Well, what is
maybe
good?
I agree with that.
Okay, well, I think that we are innately selfish. I do think that.
Okay. So
I don't
do
really
being
know how to
innately selfish is bad?
say that again.
Do you think being innately selfish is bad?
Yes and no. Basically, what Jane was saying, like,
Mhm.
and I think it's a lot about like the people around us and like, because we don't know, it's like going on in someone's head, like if they are doing like this action because like they want to feel good or they want like, a reaction out of people like around them. So I don't really know. But yes and no to make that a short answer.
And also to tie this with biological determinism, like I think if you truly believe that it's like innately selfish, if we are innately selfish and like we just cannot help but be selfish creatures, then can we even claim anything about like whether that's morally good or bad?
When you frame it that
Anyone have any
way,
thoughts?
no, but
Wait, what did I ask? What are you saying no to?
like you can't really frame things as good or bad if there's no free will behind them. If it's just like biologically determined. But
Mhm.
for I don't know, for all intents and purposes, whenever we like ask these types of questions, it is somewhat assumed that there is some decision-making power independent of what is biologically determined. Yeah, so maybe
So
that kind of.
do you think we have decision-making power?
I think we do, but it's like on a more complex level than just I decide this or I don't decide this. It's like
Maybe there is like a range of things we can decide
Yeah.
from.
like
I'm really hesitant to say that though, because I don't know how I can explain that other than the fact that I feel like I'm making choices.
yeah, because like whenever we were talking about biological determinism, we were like,
Yeah.
oh, there's no such thing as free will. Everything is biologically determined.
Yeah.
But can we make this consistent with what we believe here?
Yeah,
We
that's
can't.
what.
So we
That's
have
why
to change
it's
something.
so scary sometimes, because we're like, I'm mad at that person for being bad. But like, if you don't believe in free will, then like you cannot get mad at anyone ever. I was gonna say something else.
In the meantime.
Wait, while I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So-
Does anyone have other thoughts they'd like to add? Jefferson, do you have anything to say? If you're here.
Hello. Wait, maybe I missed something, but why are you guys talking about selfishness?
Yeah. Like, is it a good or bad thing? Is that what the question you're asking, or are we still talking about biological determinism?
What am I asking?
Wait, aren't all people selfish? Like if I do something, it's because I want to do it.
Yeah. So is that like, can you attach?
I
good
sometimes
or
do
bad
things
to
that I don't want to do.
Why?
What?
Does it make you feel better about yourself? If you-
Like what? Can you name an example of something that you do that you don't want to do?
Like, I might help someone that I don't want to help. Like,
but is
Then you
that
help them because you feel obligated to do it.
well, maybe I'm just trying to keep myself from feeling the guilt of not
Yeah.
helping someone, but I don't think that necessarily makes me feel good.
It just makes you feel not bad.
Yeah.
I think it's still selfish.
yeah, I agree. Because
Oh,
like
it's so selfish of me to help people.
yeah, like it's selfish of you
Yes.
to you don't want to refuse because that
Yeah,
might have more
I know what you're
consequences.
saying. It's
Yeah.
just like some things are more selfish than others. I wanted to say something about like innate qualities, but I'm so annoyed. It was such a good question. Someone please fill the silence.
Angie, we haven't heard from you in a while.
Also, what are people's actual opinions? Are we born good and then corrupted by society, or are we born bad? and then-
We all said it, but you weren't here. I said we're all innately bad.
We did the poll at like the beginning. But
Okay.
I'm just stuck.
Wait, and then did you
No,
talk
I-
about like us creating capitalism is also another example of us being innately bad or something
No, it's like
along those lines?
No.
where selfishness can be used for good things.
Yeah.
Mhm. Like
Wait,
if
say
you
that
want
again.
the money,
Mhm.
like we pay people for things that like people just want to get paid, but the things they produce to get paid are useful for society.
So
Right.
that would be like us being born bad but taught to be good by society.
Okay. I think there are like examples of us getting corrupted and taught, but like, what are we innately?
Mm.
Also, just PSA, everyone should watch the debate tonight.
Wait,
And
what,
also, if you can vote, please vote if you haven't already.
what do you think is an example of us being good and then being corrupted by society?
Capitalism.
Explain.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Competition.
Yeah.
That's the example I want to use. So like, even if maybe I'm not saying we are born good necessarily, but like society does corrupt us in terms of competition. Like, I know competition can be a good thing in the sense that it is what leads to innovation a lot of the time, but like that doesn't necessarily mean that competition in and of itself is a good thing, because it just encourages you to see everybody else in your society as someone to essentially fight or to be better than or to look, or like you want to be the person that's looking down on everybody else.
Wait, why
And
do you
that seems
think-
like a corruption of
Why do you
sorts.
think society encouraged that instead of us like naturally being competitive, and society just rewards like
Yeah.
competitive behavior that happens to be for the greater good?
So like, that's why I said I don't think we're necessarily born good. I'm just saying society has a corrupting influence, and competition is an example of that. Like, even if you want to get along with everyone, sometimes you have no choice but to compete with them.
Right, but why do you
Yeah.
think society makes you that way instead of us being born that way?
Because we reward bad behavior.
But couldn't
Like
we
that.
just be rewarding like that behavior because you can use that behavior to like improve society some way? And you're
Well,
just, like,
then
tapping
the
into
system that I think like the problem is though that like we don't necessarily reward that bad behavior because not every time we reward that kind of behavior is a result of us wanting to like improve society in some way.
Can you provide a counterexample?
Like, just because we reward competition doesn't mean like it will be good in the grand scheme of things. Now I'm just thinking of like med school admissions, for example. Like, there is no need for them to like create all these prerequisites and make us all compete for spots or whatever, but we end up having to play into that competition just for the sake of someone wanting to make more money.
You don't think you could say that they're encouraging you to compete so that you'll like learn more and then ultimately become better doctors?
So like no, so like the I don't want to say anything bad about like any like actual thing, but like because I don't want to be liable for anything, but like
Don't sue me.
like for example, a lot of the time big entities will only have like their motivation for doing things is mostly I'm gonna make more money, so I'm going to make all these people do all these things just because I know it's going to make more money, not because it's for the greater good. Because like, what do you gain from making every single pre-med take physics that they're never going to use?
You gain more like well-rounded and like knowledgeable doctors.
Right, but if they want us to actually be well-rounded, then maybe they should encourage more philosophy classes, for example, or something that actually, because like the same type of problem solving thinking that goes into physics, I think also goes into like chemistry problems that are like slightly more relevant to the field.
So you think that society,
I don't want to make this turn into something.
You think that society is inherently corrupting because med school is making you take physics?
Stop! This isn't funny. That was an actual example. Like, some things only exist for the sake of making themselves bigger rather than serving some actual purpose. Like, I don't want to name things and say that they're bad.
If a med school makes itself bigger.
Wait, let's stop
then-
talking about med school. I'm
Okay.
trying to get into med school.
If any random teaching organization makes their class like bigger or makes their university bigger, let's say,
Mhm.
then that means they're like allowed to accept more applicants, which
Yeah.
means there's more,
Doctors.
whoa, not that. More helpful people in the world, which can then help the world.
Yeah, so why make it more competitive and harder to get more people into those positions because it doesn't actually make sense, because like I'm gonna stop talking about med school now, but like America has like not a lot of doctors compared to other developed societies, and that's like because of
So
the system that exists here. Like I'm not going to say anything else about that, but like there's no actual motivation, because like besides those people wanting to make more money.
Wait, who wants to make more money?
Well, let's say
Wait, I'm not asking for specific. You think like the med schools want to make more money?
no, not med schools. If
Okay,
med schools
so-
wanted to make more money, then they would get more students,
Yeah.
right? But then, okay, let's think of some other school. If there's a school, there's like a professional school for some X profession that is very good for the world. If those people are making a lot of money because they are scarce right now, right? Those people get paid more, and they know they'll get paid more if there are fewer of them that exists in society. So then they're like, okay, let's limit the spots, let's make it even harder so that there will be fewer of us, and all of us elite people can make the most money and will never have to forfeit that, even if it's for the greater good of society.
So you think that seems to me like an example of people being inherently evil.
Well, but that is the system that encourages that behavior,
But
because
it's
we
those people
encourage
that
people.
it's those people that set up the current system.
Okay, but just because, okay, this is also an important thing. Like, just because people set up a bad system does not necessarily mean that those people are bad. I told you this before.
There's
Don't you
also-
agree?
Are they intentionally setting up the bad system, or do they
Well,
like try to set up a good system?
In
that
this
actually
case,
brings them to-
in this case, their behavior is actually bad because the intention is just, I want to make more money. But like, just because like the people, or like, think of a bad system. If someone creates that system, that does not necessarily mean that they are bad. Like, with the what's that documentary we watched called?
Social
With the-
dilemma.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
social like with the social dilemma and all like the privacy issues with like social media companies and whatever. Like the people that built the system that is now invading our privacy did not build that system with the intention of, so this goes back to intention again, like they didn't build that system with the intention of invading everyone's privacy within the next few years, you know?
I don't know. I guess this kind of goes with the are we born good and then corrupted by society? It might not be specific like institutions, but it could be just the fact that there's like scarcity in the world. Kind of like why does theft exist, for example, when
Mhm.
like good people find themselves in like bad situations and they have to resort to crime to like get what they need, or like I don't know, I remember there was like in elementary school, for example, I would just like give people food or my allowance or something just because I did not know that, oh, I should probably keep this, and then I got like yelled at like hey, you should not just like give this away, like it's actually valuable, like you should use it for yourself.
Yeah.
So
But is
I
that
don't know.
reasoning to claim anything? Like just because something is scarce, if something is scarce, does that give you a moral claim to it?
no, it doesn't give you a
Like,
moral claim to it, but you
Yeah.
can be good and then corrupted or like
okay, yeah, I
become
see what
more
you're saying.
selfish in
Yeah.
order to survive, I guess, essentially.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But then should we judge humanity on like the toughest situation we've been in?
No, but like
I'm not saying you
Yeah.
are, I'm just asking, should we?
we could take it into account, but like not just the worst situation, I guess. I don't know. Wait, do we still have the altruism tab or?
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah. Okay, just so we don't like keep talking in circles about the same stuff. Yeah, do you want to introduce your altruism?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So like this slide is just asking like, is there any such thing as altruism if we like accept that we are selfish? Like does altruism mean that we aren't being selfish? And like I think everyone when they think of the word altruism thinks like, they're doing it to be selfless. They're trying to help other people even if maybe they don't get much out of it.
Wait, sorry, I'm dumb. What does altruism mean again?
It's like
Like as a general definition, it just means like kindness to other people without expecting something back.
yeah, it's like doing good things.
So like
Volunteering, I
donating
guess.
to
Yeah.
charity. Or like, so some people think like, if you do a bad thing or if you do a good thing and you're being paid to do that good thing, it doesn't seem that good, you know?
Yeah. But even if you're not being paid, does that say like, does that make you good or unselfish?
Because like in a way, everyone who helps someone gains something in that transaction, whether it's, oh, people are going to look at you as if you were a nicer person, or like you're going to feel good for helping somebody, or et cetera, et cetera. So like, does the fact that you gain make it not altruistic? Like, what do you think the definition of altruism should be then? And that last question, do you think like other animals are capable of altruism? And we can also tie this back to the biological determinism thing if we think of like other animals, because like where would the line be? What allows us to be altruistic and other animals not? Or maybe you do think animals can be altruistic.
I'm trying to look up that billionaire philanthropist who was like not that good. Like whenever I think of altruism, I think of philanthropy, I guess, or just like really rich people building universities or parks or something. which looks really good, makes them more liked by people, but it's also kind of a way for them to distract from them not paying taxes, for example, or even worse, just like mistreating their laborers. I guess kind of like I don't know. So
or like Jeff Bezos
Yeah, Jeff
putting up
Bezos.
an ad about how he's being so environmentally friendly. Like that makes him look so good. And maybe they are taking some important measures to actually do something about climate change, or like Apple
yeah,
not selling the chargers with the phones anymore. Like
but like I feel like we can easily see through that just because we perceive like these people as, oh, these big bad corporations that are actually just like
mhm.
interested in profit. But what about the individual? Like you can still do altruistic things as a single person, but are there like ulterior motives behind your actions? And does that mean you're incapable of altruism, like in a complete sense? Any thoughts?
I guess if you would like expect helping people to make you feel good, then there is no like true altruism, because that's still a motive. That's still a selfish motive. And like I guess by like true altruism, I would think that you guys mean like completely selfless, right?
Maybe.
Maybe like maybe we can't say then, because we don't want to define altruism if it's not going to exist at all. Like why would we have the word for something that doesn't exist?
Yeah.
Also like another thing to consider is if you think like we can't help but feel good when we help someone, we can't claim like, oh, you're not being altruistic anymore because you just automatically felt good about helping someone. Just
Yeah,
like,
it could also be just like a reward. Like you don't have to have the intention. You don't have to like intend on feeling good. Like you don't have to help someone just because it makes you feel good. And at the end of the day, I guess.
right. So now you're talking about intention. So do you think intention is more important?
Ah, no. Don't ask me that question. I don't know. I guess it's like
Yeah, go ahead.
maybe intention does. I don't even know anymore.
Please let me convince you.
What did you say?
Just let me convince you, Angie.
Never.
I think one of the things that I like about this topic is that all of my like instinctive responses to all of these questions contradict everything I believe for every other question that is asked.
That's what's so fun.
Yeah, but like why do I award this like doubt, or I guess good opinion to like human actions versus other things?
Yeah, like we need to think more about our actual opinions on things, because a lot of the time we just like say something and we're like, yeah, I totally think that. But if you think more about it, you are just like contradicting yourself all the time when you say what you're thinking. So that's definitely really important to think about.
Yeah.
Also, I don't want to be annoying, but like I would like it if people turned on their cameras. I don't actually like mind if you're doing like something else while you're on the call.
No, I'm eating.
What?
I'm eating.
We can watch you eat.
It's good. I'm fine.
Thank you. You don't have to. I just like, it's nice to see you guys' faces when we talk to each other.
Like feels like we're actually talking to people. but
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the question of our
Like
other
animals?
animals?
I feel pressured now. Like,
Oh,
why would
I'm
you
sorry.
do
I
that?
don't like actually
That's
want
such
to
a terrible thing to do.
I just want to see their beautiful faces. So does anyone have any
You should be
thoughts
ashamed
about
of yourself.
what did you say?
Huh?
What did you say?
What?
Don't worry about
What
it.
were you gonna say?
What did he say?
I don't
Do
know.
you know what
He
he's
said you should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh,
You guys should be ashamed of yourselves, according
that's right. You should be ashamed of yourself.
to.
just talking to me?
No, not you. Everyone. All humans should be ashamed of themselves.
For what?
Because we're not altruistic.
No one.
Or the predators.
Just for being human. So
That's
it's
right.
not
Apologize to the universe right
like
now.
really bad.
What was that?
So Jefferson, do you think we are innately bad then?
No.
Then what do we have to be ashamed about? And why do you think that?
I think all humans should live a life of shame. Just because. Not because they're bad or good. Just
Sound like
because.
the evangelicals.
Yeah,
And-
sure.
Not
Recorded.
saying
Live a
anything
better life.
anti-religion.
Thankfully.
Okay, but like I'm really curious about this last question. Are other animals capable of being altruistic?
I think no, and I think we're also not capable for the same reason, and that is biological determinism.
But like, what's the biological determinism behind a mother cat or something adopting a puppy, an orphan puppy that she just like finds in the street?
Okay, so like this goes into
What do you think? it
right,
goes
but
to?
we can say the same thing about like humans too. Like we do nice things for people.
Yeah, but because it like furthers the human race. But I'm saying like between animals.
So like in Psych 230, we talked about like other behaviors that animals do that are like beneficial to other animals that don't necessarily look like it would make sense. So maybe that is reasoning, but I also think like I just think animals don't have free will. We don't have free will, so no. But I also, even if we accept that we do have free will, I want to say that animals.
Don't.
I want to say they don't, but now I'm trying to think of a reason why.
Yeah. I do think that maybe like, yeah, other animals can't be capable of altruism just because of that biological determinism. Like why mother cats might adopt an orphan puppy is just because of the maternal hormone. Like if
Yeah,
a cat just
yeah,
gives
yeah.
birth and you give her another animal, she will adopt it as
Yeah,
one of
there's
her
no
own.
reason for us to like distinguish between like her actual offspring and some other
Yeah.
cat.
So
And I think you can extend that to humans too.
yeah,
So
like maybe
someone
if
please
we're-
disagree with us and prove us wrong.
Hmm.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Why do
Sorry.
you agree?
I don't agree because of biological determinism.
So you do agree that we don't have free will because of biological determinism?
No, I agree we don't have free will for a different reason. I told you about this.
Okay, wait. So why are you accepting biological determinism for this reasoning, but not for?
Oh no,
other
I was
reasons?
just saying that I don't think animals are altruistic either.
So
Yeah.
we are not altruistic because of biological
No,
determinism.
no,
No.
I don't care about biological determinism. I just
You
think
just
we're not. No, I said I agree with you, but not about the biological determinism.
Okay, so what do you agree with then?
That other animals are not altruistic
But why?
because we're not altruistic. So why would we be special?
But why are we altruistic?
we're not altruistic?
Why? Yeah. Why? are we
Why?
not?
Because we're selfish. We do everything for selfish reasons.
So you think if you are doing something selfishly, then it can't be altruistic? What if we're doing something? What if I do something to feel good, but I can't help but just feel good? Like you can't get mad at me for feeling good.
Wait, but what's like your motivation behind it? Are you doing it because you want to feel good or because you like want to help people? And how do you
Well,
know?
I would like to think that I want to actually help people. Like, I feel like I want to help people.
But why do you want to help people?
It just makes you feel good.
No, because in my head, when I think about it, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm gonna feel so good
Maybe-
when I do that. Like, I'm thinking, oh, it'll be so nice to make that person happy.
But
It'd
then
also be like, if I don't help this person, I'm gonna feel so bad because I already considered
Yeah,
it.
so like eventually it has to come back to me because that's just how we perceive the world, and I don't think we can help that.
Yeah.
I don't think that means we're bad, and maybe altruism should allow for some selfishness because otherwise they would not exist.
True.
We can do
oh yeah, that's smart.
this. So few people.
Um,
Wait, so what does everybody else think about animals?
I don't think there is true altruism, so animals and humans can't have it.
Okay.
Don't ask me why. I don't know.
What? That's the whole point, Jane. I care more about your why than your actual conclusion. Any thoughts, Simone? You look like you're thinking.
Girl, I don't know.
I don't know. It's like I think I do things in the moment because I'm like, oh, I want to help this person. But then after I help the person, I like if I reflect on myself, I'm like, wow, I feel like I did something really good. I'm so happy that I did that, or I'm so proud of myself for doing that. So I don't think it's altruistic.
Right, but in a way, it's just like classical conditioning. And can you even blame us for being classically conditioned to be nice to other people? Like,
So is that like social determinism then?
maybe. Though I think that phrase might mean something else.
Yeah,
in, like,
it sounds
actual
familiar,
vocab.
but like
Like social determinants. Like that sounds more like
isn't that a eugenics related thing or
slash like this will make you more likely to have a shorter lifespan and such.
okay, yeah.
Like in sociology.
Oh,
like,
okay.
like people of color are more likely to have health
Yeah.
problems and stuff.
Sounds
Not sure if that's correct. No one actually listened to me, but like
societal / environmental influence. There we go.
Yeah.
That's a good.
when I say biological determinism though, I feel like that also encompasses environmental stuff.
Mhm.
Because like in the end your brain is just rewiring based on your environment anyway, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Social conditioning. That's the word I was looking for.
mm.
Yeah. Mm.
We can talk about other things too, guys, if you
Yeah,
want
it's
to talk
fine.
about like what do you think oh wait, I don't want to get into the animals too much because we're gonna have an actual discussion on that, but like what do you think separates humans and animals, if there is any separation? Or what is the most relevant difference?
It separates them in what context?
Like we like everyone's like humans are animals, but we're not animals, you know, like what makes us not the same as every other animal? Is it just our
Wait, not the same
consciousness?
how? I would say we're the same as every other animal
Really?
Really? Why?
because I don't think there's anything like that makes us not an animal.
Like we are animals, but we are like the animal, you know what I mean? Like what gives us like the highest status? Stop laughing at me, Jane.
Because we can kill any animal we want.
So we're just apex predators.
Oh, so you think this is just like a what is that called?
Food chain.
Food chain thing?
Well, I don't really know, like different in what context. Like, I feel like we're different in
different.
like a ton of ways.
I mean, yeah, but like what is the most relevant difference in terms of like ethics or like how we should treat animals? Because some people are like, we should treat animals the same way we treat other humans. Does anyone believe that?
No.
Why? So like for example, eating them. If I feel the urge to eat a human, can I do that?
No, but like you shouldn't feel the urge to eat a human. You're not ever gonna feel an urge if you're
What?
okay
Though? How do you
with
explain actual cannibalism then?
no other choice, maybe?
Okay.
I feel like cannibal societies. or
Yeah,
something.
but then
Yeah.
they like die out because it's really bad for you.
Right, but so just because
they all eat
something's
each
like
other.
bad for you doesn't mean we're not gonna do it. Like we
know,
love
like-
candy.
Yeah, we love McDonald's.
Candy's good for us.
Yummy candy. Okay.
Just like
oh, yeah, we have candy in the closet. I put it in the closet and I
Oh,
forgot
you hid
about
it.
We have more Scandinavian swimmers.
Yeah, they're right there.
but like I don't know. I feel like it doesn't make us different from other animals in the sense that we don't like eating our own species. That's just something that most animals share.
But not really. Like bugs, they eat each other all the time.
Bugs are not like okay,
Monkeys
like
eat each other all the time.
Or like praying
Praying mantises.
mantises? Manti?
mantises, I think. But bugs are just let's exclude them from this discussion. They're very weird.
Why? You don't think they deserve rights, Tia?
No. I feel like if we're comparing like
So like how should we treat animals then? Like is there any line? How should we treat babies
baby animals or baby humans?
or baby humans? Because we might compare baby humans to baby animals. People are always like, ah, my dog is smarter than your baby.
Mm,
So does potential matter?
bruh. Maybe we shouldn't like we should just like try to minimize their pain as much as possible. I guess that could go with
So just because
utilitarianism.
they feel pain?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Mhm.
So, but besides that, everything is fair game.
I think so. Maybe just like don't use it or kill it unless there's a specific reason to.
But why? What if you do everything painlessly?
Just like why would you waste it?
Why not? We do it to plants.
I don't think you should do it to plants either.
Okay, why?
Because it's just I don't like wasting things.
I think it's fine to do it to plants because like they don't have a brain. Like they don't know what's happening to them. Like who cares?
Wasn't there
The
a
plant doesn't care.
there was
Okay,
like
what
a-
if we like? Sorry, keep going.
No, it's like I think I saw a recent study that
Mhm.
showed like plants emit a certain like frequency, almost like a shout, whenever they're like hit or abused or something.
Right,
But it
then
might just
that
be a stress response. Hey, Murda.
Hi, Amerta. She couldn't hear you because her audio was
Hey, how's it going?
good. How are you?
I'm all right.
We've been talking about altruism and selfishness, and yeah, we're at like the last few minutes, and we were just kind of addressing this last question, like are other animals capable of altruism? And for that matter, what's the difference between humans and animals? Yeah, that's kind of a lot to throw at you. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
We're happy too. Wait, maybe Amerta, do you think humans are innately good or bad?
I don't know, man.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
And
So
I
you're
don't
like
know.
speaking process though.
not really like something I really think about. But like I do think that people like really quickly judge other people, and maybe that is like a source of them being like bad. But like I don't know if they're like born good or bad. I don't know. I think I see it as like a clean slate.
Mhm. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that like humans are innately selfish then?
Maybe. At least to a degree, yeah.
Do you think that can be like a good thing, or is that necessarily a bad thing?
Maybe it can be a good thing. I don't know. Sometimes people are self-destructive, and that's not a good thing. But if they care about themselves, that is a good thing.
Yeah.
Right, but a lot of time we look down on people for being selfish, right? So, like, is selfishness a good thing or not?
I feel like it depends on the context. Unless you get into some situation where it's like your friend is depressed, but you're also depressed, and like you need to help yourself first. That's kind of difficult.
Sorry, it seems like we have nothing to say. It's because we've been like talking about this for so long now.
Sorry.
Very good. Should we do announcements? And
Oh,
it's
yeah,
8:22. Yeah.
Also, do any of you guys not get the emails I've been sending out? So everyone does.
All right. Sometimes, like, if in the next few weeks, if you don't get something, just make sure to check your spam folder, because it might end up there, even though we're trying our best to minimize that chance.
Also, if you look at our website, we put up like a bunch of photos of people. So like, if you don't want your photo on there, please email us.
Yeah, we just had a little like, yeah, chat thing, just showing the club and all its glory. Hopefully, we get more members, so there's not as much doubling of photos. But we'll see. If you know any people who would be interested in having these types of discussion, please let them know and let us know so that we can like add them if they, or send them the form. So for next meeting, the 29th, we're going to be doing our Netflix party. We're going to be watching Playtest, or Black Mirror season 3 episode 2. Does everyone need to have Netflix for this to work?
Yeah. I think
Anyone here not have Netflix, or?
Jane, you can use ours. We'll be on Tia's.
Jefferson, you can just like come over here if you want.
And this meeting is only going to be an hour long. So essentially everyone's just going to come to the Zoom call, and then we can give you like the code or whatever, how it works.
And then we're going to watch it.
We'll watch it, and then we'll just end our meeting.
Yeah, Lucia has
Actually, we can come back to the Zoom call just to
debrief, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so the meeting after that, we're going to like actually discuss it. Wait, Amerta, you said you didn't have Netflix?
Yeah, my parents got rid of it like 2 weeks ago.
Okay. I think there's a way for us to screen share.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
And then I think there's a way on Zoom to make like optimize the audio for other people listening. So I think we can figure it out anyway. So don't worry about that.
Thanks, I appreciate y'all.
Of course. And then the meeting after that, we're gonna discuss what we watched the previous week and like the adjacent topic of limiting innovation.
Yeah, it relates a lot to the episode. After that, we're gonna do animal ethics, and then antinatalism and immoral births. We have good news. We're going to be a University of Michigan affiliated organization soon.
Actually, I want to correct it. We won't be actually affiliated. Apparently the wording is weird and we can't say we're affiliated, so I will just scratch that. But like, we will be a club at the University of Michigan.
Yeah. So we should be more discoverable that way.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And again, please email us if you don't want your photo on our website, or if there's like any issues with you being like on the screen recordings. And if you haven't filled it out, and if you want to request one of our pins, do we still have them here?
Yeah, they're over there in the corner.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I'll stop sharing now.
we got these cute pins. If you want to get one,
They're free.
Yeah, they're free. We're gonna mail them out soon as
So
soon
yeah,
as we
just
have
fill out
a
the
more complete
form.
picture of who wants it. So just fill out the form with your address and you should be getting one soon.
Yeah.
All right, thank
And
you
I think that's-
everyone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Hopefully that was fun. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. We can just wait for them to leave.
Yeah.
And-